Right, so let's drop a null at the bottom of here. So we've got an out for this. So let's call this out, try again, body fracture. Okay, and just get rid of that. And then let's set up a new geo node. And we'll call this body and wheel sim. We'll also be building and setting constraint values in here. So I'm going to object merge. I'm going to have two of these, one for the null that we just created, so out body fracture, just that, and the other one for the wheels. We're going to bring the wheels in to this as well now. So the out wheels, I believe. There we go. Fantastic. Okay, and then I'll just merge these together. I don't need to give names to these. We can see here what what we're bringing in. Great. And let's see. Oh, okay. So with the, I'll go back and do it in here. I think would make more sense. Going to assemble these. Okay, I know that we've made names here, but we might get we'll get some duplicates, right? Because when it flicks over, it's not going to take into account. Well, in fact, without this, let's see if we take a look at the names. Yeah, I think we'll probably get, it's hard to see here, but we will get duplicates with the name attributes, right? Be careful with for each loops, and we're splitting and doing the same thing on two different pieces of geometry. So yeah, I'm just going to give them new names again here. Okay, again, not packing. Let's give the same name here, bendy. Okay, and what I also want to do is separate the door. Okay, just make a group for the door. So I give myself a group here called door. Right. What I'm going to do, let me turn off this visualization, and I'm going to make a selection. Okay, using the class attributes, I think. So if we go down to attributes and class, right? So I want everything that includes the door. So I'm just going to come in here and just click there. Let me see if I do it maybe like this and select down like that. That should get everything that we need. Let me think. I think if I'm just kind of doing this by eye, which basically I want the pieces that should move together. They'd be when you open the door, which pieces come away. Basically, I think that looks about right. Cool. I got everything there. Press enter on that. Maybe let's just try moving it away. If I just drop a transform to the side, select the door group, and just move it away. Okay, it looks about right. I'm just looking for no floating pieces in the middle here. Okay, so that's good. I'll delete that and head back into body wheel sim. Great. And we'll start building some constraints on this. So just like before, we use the constraints from rules. RBD constraints from rules. And I'll plug this into the geometry side and to the proxy geometry. Okay, so I'm making proxy geometry. So they're both the same, but I just feel like it's tidier to have something on both sides, right? So we'll start with the door group that we just made. Oh, actually, I just forgot. We need to make the not door group as well. So back in here, another group node. which is called not door. You could just do what I'm about to do now in the other, you know, when you're searching for a group, but I'll do this just to be tired and just to be tidy. Okay, so if I do not door here, this, you know, the exclamation mark means select everything which is not door, and it gives me a group called not door, which is nice and tidy. Great. So so we'll work on the door first. Let's do surface points. It's typically better to use surface points when you're trying to do metal or fabric or something that's going to bend and flex. You know, but as per usual, you know, don't take that as, you know, as the only option. It's good to play around. Sometimes if you want some really gnarly bent and crumbled up, you know, metal, you could try center of mass, and that just allows the pieces to move a bit more, and you get loads of crazy crinkly pieces. But typically, especially big chunks of metal like this, are not going to behave like that. So I'm going to set this to surface points, and name attribute is fine. Let's give it a name. So the constraints here will be called bendy, and let's see, I'm gonna do less constraints per piece. We don't need so many. 4 should be fine. So I think about it like 1 above, 1 below, 1 on each side, and that's okay like that. And then I'm going to do another one which will be identical pretty much. And from this point, now that I've generated constraints, we need to remember to connect up the points in the middle. And for this one, we're just going to do the same for not door. Okay, and just then get rid of that, and that will generate constraints everywhere else. But now we don't have constraints between the door and the other pieces. Now you might notice that it is a bit different to, you know, how we did the bus stop. For the bus stop, we took every single separate piece, made their own constraints, and then constrained them all together. But that's because I wanted it to fall apart a bit more. But the car, I wanted to hold together a bit better, and just the door to be kind of, you know, breaking away a bit. Okay, and it will give us a bit more control, or it'll be easier to finesse the simulation by doing it in this way. Okay, and then we also, obviously now the door, there's nothing connecting the door onto this, so we'll do another one of these to connect the door to the actual body there. This is getting slow, so let me just set this to manual. Okay, so these are going to be, I'm going to call these, they're going to be surface points. I don't want to group, I wanted to do it on all of them. We're going to do group to group. I'm going to call these connectors as they're going between kind of components. I'm going to call it door, not door. So that's the name for this group of constraints that I'm about to build. We're going from group to group, and I can use, let's turn on this to find that group. So door and not door. Okay, so you can see what's going on there. But I don't want them to be constrained all the way around. The hinges would be at the top there for this car. So what we can do is use this bounding box. So we'll only have constraints built in there. Okay, and I've, you know, I just want to put the bounding box there. I'll type in the values that I worked out to work for that. So 0.3, 0.5, and let's see. Oh, and up 1. There we go. Okay, so that's just kind of clipping the edge off there. So I'll just have constraints along the edge at the top there. So that's fine. What else do I want? We need, the rest of the constraints are going to be for the kind of wheels and rig and everything. So I'm going to set this back to manual, drop this down again. I'm just copying it to save time. We'll turn off the bounding box. Okay, and then we'll do, let's start with For these constraints, now that we're doing the wheels and everything, we don't need them to be surface points because they're not simulating metal, right? So we'll do center of mass. And the first ones we'll do the rig, which is the kind of part in the middle of the car, right? If you think about where the actual wheel attaches to the car, to bendy. So that's attaching like the chassis to the car. Maybe you can think about it that way. Okay, and then we need to use the attributes here because I don't think we have groups on them. So a name is, or maybe we do, but we'll just do it this way. To name, let's see, I think I have groups, or maybe not. Suspension. Oh, actually, no, we don't need suspension attached in there. Just rig. Oh, yes, we do actually. Sorry. Yeah, we need that. And name is excuse me. Suspension. Star there. And the next group is going to be bendy. At name is bendy, so that's, you know, metal. Put star before and after, so anything bendy with anything after or before. Let's turn this to auto update. There we go. Yeah, so we need this piece attached to the car, and that's going to be attached with glue constraints, and these also will be attached to the car so that they don't flop around all over the place, right? And max connections 1. Yeah, we'll just leave it as it is, like that. Good. What else do we need? Let's do copy that again. Alt click and drag, by the way, to copy and paste these. So this one is going to be the rig to the hub. So this is going to give our wheel ability to move up and down a little bit, and back and forward, so as if it's got, you know, suspension on it. So we want from the actual rig here in the middle to the hub, which is in the middle of the wheel. Okay, and we just need to raise that search radius because they're going all the way across there. There we go, stretching all the way, and that's fine. So that's like, so this will be a cone twist constraint that can move up and down a bit, right? Another one. Oops. So now we need the wheel itself to the hub on the inside. So that's where the rotation will come from. Okay. So let's do connectors wheel hub. And that will be from the wheel to the hub, just as it is there. I'll leave that as it is. So you can see, you can't actually see the constraint. That's because it's, you know, it's from the center of this cylinder to the center of this cylinder, but it is there. It will just be a point in the center. Okay. And then last one from the suspension, right? So connect these. So this will be the connectors suspension to the hub. And to hub. And same here. To hub. And there we go. We get these lines. And this line doesn't connect directly to the wheel, but to the hub that the wheel is spinning around. Okay, we should give it some more freedom to move around a bit. Okay, so I think that's good for building all the constraints. Let's just put a box around it to be clean. Let's say build cons. Cool.